Okay, let's say I'm traveling with Air France and I don't know what is the code of Air France, because if I want to search for an availability from destination to from an origin destination to arrival, from origin to destination with a specific airline, let's say Air France. If I want to check the availability, I write down the availability entry, which is A and 10 January. For example, I'm going from Beirut in Lebanon to Charles de Gaulle in France with airline Air France 2. To specify the airline, you write down, adding on the basic entry, you add /A. A stands for airline. Okay, A stands for airlines. Then you write the letter code of the 2-letter code of the airline, because as we said, the airline is 2-letter codes. The airport is 3-letter codes. The nationality is a 3-letter codes. The day is 2-letter codes. The month is 3-letter codes. So if I want to specify an airline, as you can see here, if I didn't specify the airline, what you will see here, you will see MEAF, MEAZ. But if you write down the entry and you specify the airline, you will only have Air France. You will know later what do we mean by that. It means it is Air France, but it is operated with Middle East. And when we see the operated with Middle East, we see this when there's 2 airlines have culture or agreement together. So here there is a Star Alliance member, there is a SkyTeam member, there's One World Alliance member. It's agreement with different airlines. So here the marketing carrier is Air France, but the operating aircraft is Middle East. So here you will buy the ticket from Air France, but the aircraft that will depart is Middle East. So you will fly with Middle East, but actually you booked the ticket with Air France, but they are both together because they have already an agreement together. Okay, so let's say here, if I want to specify the airline, the passenger needs to travel with Air France, and I don't know what the code of the airline, because here, as we see, we didn't put Air France. We can't. The system won't take this. Won't take the entry if I wrote down Air France. I should write the airport code. The airline code. So in order to know the airline code, I should encode or decode. So previously we used DAN to check the code of the airport and DAC to check the name of the airport codes. Now, in order to check the airline, we write down DNA. A stands for airline, and we use DNA if we want to decode a name or try to find the name of a code. So let's say here we want A stands for airline, so the basic entry is DNA. If I want to display the name of the airline, I write down DNA and the airline, which is Air France, and enter. The system will give us that the code of the Air France is AF. But let's check now if it is correct. If let's say DNA, it's the basic entry. Let's say I want to check the name of the airline code, AF. The system will give us that AF is Air France, so it's correct. Okay. Here we use DNA, the same entry we used here, DNA. But here we have the name of the airline, here we have the code of the airline. And if we wrote the name of the airline, it will give us the code of the airline. And if we have the code of the airline, the system will give us the name of the airline. Okay, this is for the airlines. Now, sometimes we have some passengers who ask about the equipment. You will have some clients who will ask you if this aircraft is with Airbus or Boeing, 777 or whatever. So in order to know the equipment of the airline, the aircraft, to tell the client which equipment is, you can actually display from using the entries, the encoding and the decoding entries, to display the code of the equipment or the name of the equipment. So let's say here, if you want to encode or decode the equipment, the airline, we use DNA for airlines. Now, in order to use the encoding, decoding for equipment, instead the same entry, but instead of A we write down E. So D and E, it's for equipment. So let's say here the equipment code, it's 3 letters. Okay, the equipment letter is 3 letters. So let's say here we I will give you an example here. Let's check here. As you can see here, we were displaying availability 10 January by Richard de Gaulle. So the system gave us an first option with Middle East Air France operated by Middle East, and then the equipment is 32Q. So let's check here what is a 32Q. So we write down 32Q, DNE 32Q, in order to check the 32Q which equipment. Enter, and the system will give us that 32Q, it's an Airbus. So the equipment here, the aircraft, is Airbus. Now let's assume it's 777. The system will give us that 777 is Boeing. Now let's make sure DNE Boeing. The system will give us all the codes of the Boeing aircrafts, because there is many aircrafts. Let's check here. Boeing types. I want you to know the difference. Actually, there's too many aircraft types for Boeing and for Airbus. But some aircraft is longer than the other. Some is more bulky. Some aircraft is different shape from the tail to the wings. Okay, so and even how much the aircraft can weigh. So let's check here. DNE 777, it's Boeing. Okay, this is for equipment. Let's say now we want a list of airports in a specific city. So let's say a passenger is traveling to London. So I need to check how many airports there's in London. Okay, so basically the international airport in London is LHR, Heathrow. DAC LHR, it's Heathrow. DAN, if I write down Heathrow, it's LHR. Okay, so if I want all the airport list of airports in London, I write down the entry DB. DB, it's encoding all the list of airports per city, which is in Heathrow, and we will see that in London, as you can read here, multi-airport city London, it's in Great Britain. Airports are BQ, Edge Hill, LGW Gatwick, LHR Heathrow, LTN Luton. Okay, these airports all are in City London, Liverpool Street as well as, but the LHR, it's the most one used in international airport. It's LHR Heathrow. Okay, so this is how we use the entry to display a list of airports per city. It's DB and this the city code, the airport code. Okay, ignore. Let's now check how to encode or decode a country. So let's say a passenger, he's traveling to Japan. Okay, he's traveling to Japan, and I want to enter the details of the passport. And as we know, on the passport, the nationality that we see, it's either the 2-letter code of the country or the 3-letter code of the nationality. So let's say here we want to know this information, the nationality and the nationality code and the 2-letter code, to check what to put on the entry for entering the details, the passport details on the booking. So in order to decode or encode the airport, the city, the country, we put DC. C stands for country. So DAN to know the code of a specific airport, DAC to know the name of a specific airport code, DNA to know the specific name or specific code of a specific airline, DNE to know the code or the name of the equipment, and DB to know the list of airports in a city, and now DC it's for encoding, decoding, entry for countries. So let's say he's traveling to Japan. I write down DC Japan, and the system will give us that Japan, it's an age